CompTIA A Certification Exam Core 1 Review. Question 1. The proposed solution is being reviewed before implementation. Which property makes shoulder surfing suitable for the requirement? Option A. It deters opportunistic theft by attaching the device chassis to furniture or another anchor. Option B. It combines independent evidence such as knowledge, possession, or inherence. Option C. It obtains information through visual observation rather than technical interception. Option D. It provides a controlled way to apply vendor fixes while tracking compliance and failures. The correct answer is option C. It obtains information through visual observation rather than technical interception. The important capability of shoulder surfing is that it observes screens or input to capture sensitive information. Phishing uses deceptive communications rather than direct visual observation. A privacy screen and better positioning prevent the observer from seeing the credential entry. Question 2. A user is waiting for a repair that has not changed status since the previous day. Which option should be implemented? Option A. Escalate outside -scope issues. Option B. Avoid technical jargon. Option C. Protect conversational privacy. Option D. Provide a follow-up update. The correct answer is option D. Provide a follow-up update. The scenario calls for a practice that communicates progress when a case remains open or depends on another team. Proactive updates maintain trust even when the final resolution is not yet available. The user receives the current status, dependency, and next expected communication point. Question 3. The technician must justify the selected approach using the stated requirement. Which consideration distinguishes IPv6 link-local address from the alternatives? Option A. It supports neighbor discovery and local exchange without a router-assigned global prefix. Option B. It handles message submission and relay rather than mailbox retrieval. Option C. It protects interactive commands and authentication while supporting secure administration. Option D. It segments traffic logically without requiring a completely separate switch for every group. The correct answer is option A. It supports neighbor discovery and local exchange without a router-assigned global prefix. IPv6 link-local address is relevant because it provides automatic communication on the local link using the FA80:10 prefix. A global unicast address is intended for routed communication beyond the immediate link. The interfaces communicate on the local segment using addresses beginning with FA80. Stressed about your CompTIA exam? We can take CompTIA exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. Which option identifies the procedure that prevents performance problems caused by incompatible Ethernet negotiation or forced values? Option A. Reconnect the internal display cable. Option B. Run an inkjet nozzle -cleaning cycle. Option C. Relocate the access point. Option D. Match speed in duplex settings. The correct answer is option D. Match speed in duplex settings. The defining function is that the procedure prevents performance problems caused by incompatible Ethernet negotiation or forced values. Consistent settings reduce collisions, retransmissions, and negotiation conflicts. Changing the workstation hostname does not alter Ethernet link negotiation. Question 5. An entry-level technician must select the option that best matches the stated requirement. Which characteristic best justifies selecting RJ-45 connector? Option A. It maintains airflow through the fins so transferred heat can leave the cooling assembly. Option B. It provides the standard physical connection used by many copper Ethernet interfaces. Option C. It contains specialized processing resources and dedicated display outputs for graphics-intensive tasks. Option D. It matches the socket keying and memory controller requirements of the selected platform. The correct answer is option B. It provides the standard physical connection used by many copper Ethernet interfaces. In this context, RJ-45 connector terminates common twisted -pair Ethernet cabling with an 8-position modular plug. An RJ-11 plug is narrower and is associated with telephone wiring rather than standard Ethernet. The repaired cable clicks into the ports and passes the wire-map test. Question 6. After using least privilege, which result should the technician expect if the solution worked? Option A. Unauthorized local users cannot read the protected files even though other unencrypted data remains accessible. Option B. The session locks after the idle interval and requests credentials before resuming. Option C. Offline or specialized scanning reveals hidden components that ordinary tools did not report. Option D. The employee completes approved support duties while unrelated administrative actions remain denied. The correct answer is option D. The employee completes approved support duties while unrelated administrative actions remain denied. Least privilege grants only the permissions required for an assigned task. It reduces accidental damage and limits what a compromised account can access. Granting full administrator rights would exceed the stated job requirement. Question 7. A support script requires the Windows workstation name before the technician searches inventory records. Which command most directly meets the stated need? Option A, PS. Option B, robocopy. Option C, hostname. Option D, update. The correct answer is option C, hostname. The stated requirement depends on a command that displays the local computer name. It returns the system host identifier with minimal output. The displayed name matches the device record and network registration. Question 8. A network printer should retain a predictable address while still receiving configuration from the DHCP server. Which option should be implemented? Option A, subnet mask. Option B, the DHCP reservation. Option C, port forwarding. Option D, default gateway. The correct answer is option B, DHCP reservation. The scenario calls for a setting that assigns the same leased address to a specific client based on its hardware identifier. It centralizes address management while giving the selected device a stable lease. The printer receives the same address after releasing and renewing its lease. Are you looking for CompTIA A exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access CompTIA A exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get CompTIA A exam answer key today. Question 9. A user has a working wall outlet, but the notebook receives no charging power and the adapter indicator remains dark. Which choice is most appropriate for this situation? Option A, AC adapter. Option B, laptop battery. Option C, SODIMM. Option D, DC power jack. The correct answer is option A, AC adapter. The described need is met by a component that converts household alternating current into the regulated direct current required by a laptop. It provides the voltage and amperage specified by the portable computer manufacturer. A known -good compatible unit begins charging the device without battery removal. Question 10. The proposed solution is being reviewed before implementation. Which property makes express empathy suitable for the requirement? Option A, clear expectations reduce uncertainty and prevent promises the support team cannot keep. Option B, minimizing visible information reduces unnecessary disclosure during troubleshooting. Option C, recognizing the disruption helps to escalate the interaction while troubleshooting continues. Option D, it encourages details that may not appear in a yes or no response. The correct answer is option C. Recognizing the disruption helps to escalate the interaction while troubleshooting continues. The important capability of Express Empathy is that it acknowledges the user impact without assigning blame or admitting unsupported fault. Dismissing the impact may intensify frustration even if the technical steps are correct. The user becomes more cooperative after the technician acknowledges the urgency and concern. Question 11. The technician must justify the selected approach using the stated requirement. Which consideration distinguishes change the wireless channel from the alternatives? Option A. A secure controller connection is required in addition to drive power. Option B. Each active host on a subnet requires a unique address to avoid conflicting neighbor and forwarding entries. Option C. The movement related symptom points to the internal video path rather than the graphics processor. Option D. It can reduce contention and overlapping transmissions when a cleaner channel is available. The correct answer is option D. It can reduce contention and overlapping transmissions when a cleaner channel is available. Change the wireless channel is relevant because it moves a Wi-Fi network away from severe same-band interference. Increasing screen brightness has no effect on radio interference. Performance improves and retransmission rates fall after clients reconnect on the less congested channel. Question 12. An entry-level technician must select the option that best matches the stated requirement. Which characteristic best justifies selecting resource over commitment? Option A. It lets developers focus on applications while the provider manages more of the platform stack. Option B. It aligns capacity with workload rather than requiring permanent maximum provisioning. Option C. It can improve utilization when workloads do not all demand their maximum resources at once. Option D. It gives users access to provider-managed software with minimal local administration. The correct answer is option C. It can improve utilization when workloads do not all demand their maximum resources at once. In this context, resource overcommitment assigns more virtual capacity than the physical host can provide simultaneously. Guaranteed dedicated allocation avoids contention but may leave more hardware idle. Performance remains acceptable until concurrent demand approaches or exceeds physical capacity. Question 13. The support team is evaluating the most appropriate tool, control, or procedure. Which statement explains the value of system restore in this task? Option A. It integrates scheduled backups and recovery with macOS. Option B. It quickly exposes interface addressing and supports selected DHCP and DNS maintenance switches. Option C. It can reverse system configuration changes while preserving user data. Option D. It provides a basic inventory of directory entries and supports detailed display options. The correct answer is option C. It can reverse system configuration changes while preserving user data. System restore is relevant because it returns protected system files and settings to an earlier restore point without normally removing personal documents. A full remediation removes far more current configuration and applications than necessary. The computer starts normally with the earlier system configuration after restoration. Question 14. A laptop case is separating near the touchpad and the internal battery appears enlarged. Which option should be implemented? Option A. Replace a swollen battery. Option B. Renew the DHCP lease. Option C. Clear CMOS settings. Option D. Inspect the cooling system. The correct answer is option A. Replace a swollen battery. The scenario calls for a procedure that removes a physically deformed lithium battery that presents safety and equipment risks. Prompt removal by qualified personnel reduces the risk of fire, leakage, and further chassis damage. The replacement sits flat and the enclosure closes without pressure or distortion. Question 15. Two IPv6- capable devices need basic same-segment communication before receiving globally routable addresses. Which addressing feature should be used next? Option A. A tone generator and probe. Option B. IPv6 link-local address. Option C. Wireless access point. Option D. The DHCP. The correct answer is option B. IPv6 link-local address. The problem is addressed by a addressing feature that provides automatic communication on the local link using the FA80:10 prefix. It supports neighbor discovery and local exchange without a router-assigned global prefix. The interfaces communicate on the local segment using addresses beginning with FA80. Question 16. A support technician is reviewing several possible solutions. Which consideration most strongly supports using Task Manager? Option A. It allows a technician to inspect resource usage and end an unresponsive process. Option B. It quickly exposes interface addressing and supports selected DHCP and DNS maintenance switches. Option C. It filters text efficiently and can be combined with other commands through pipelines. Option D. It supports restartable copying, logging, mirroring, and detailed selection controls. The correct answer is option A. It allows a technician to inspect resource usage and end an unresponsive process. Task Manager shows running applications, processes, performance, startup items, users, and services in Windows. File Explorer manages files and folders rather than detailed process activity. The selected process closes and system resource use returns to a normal level. Question 17. An entry-level technician must select the option that best matches the stated requirement. Which characteristic best justifies selecting grandfather-father-son rotation? Option A. It ensures the impact is reviewed and the work is authorized before broad implementation. Option B. It separates backup sets by time interval to support both recent and older restores. Option C. It limits downtime by preparing specific reversal steps and required resources in advance. Option D. It creates an auditable workflow and supports prioritization, handoff, and reporting. The correct answer is option B. It separates backup sets by time interval to support both recent and older restores. In this context, grandfather-father-son rotation organizes daily, weekly, and monthly backup generations for longer retention. Using one continuously overwritten set provides no comparable historical depth. The inventory contains the planned daily, weekly, and monthly generations according to policy. Question 18. A technician has configured restart the supporting service. Which outcome demonstrates success? Option A, sign minus and completes faster and the disabled applications remain available for manual launch. Option B, the update completes and temporary minus file errors stop after unnecessary data is safely removed. Option C, the updated content appears after cached files are removed and the page is reloaded. Option D, the service reaches the running state and the application reconnects. The correct answer is option D. The service reaches the running state and the application reconnects. Using restart the supporting service is appropriate because it reinitializes a background component that an application depends on. Restarting the specific service restores the dependency with less disruption than rebooting the computer. Replacing the keyboard cannot restore a stopped background service. Stressed about your CompTIA A exam? We can take CompTIA A exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. Which finding best confirms that infrastructure as a service achieved its intended purpose? Option A. The team deploys code to the service and the provider handles the runtime environment. Option B. Administrators can create virtual networks and instances and then install their chosen operating systems. Option C. Multiple isolated application environments run while using the same host kernel. Option D. The company provisions resources from the provider portal and pays for the selected usage. The correct answer is option B. Administrators can create virtual networks and instances and then install their chosen operating systems. The selected service model provides virtualized computing, storage, and networking resources that customers configure. It supplies flexible infrastructure without requiring the customer to purchase and maintain the physical servers. Software as a service delivers a finished application rather than customer-managed virtual infrastructure. Question 20. After using Digitizer, which result should the technician expect if the solution worked? Option A. Touch input tracks accurately across the entire screen after replacement or recalibration. Option B. The device requests the configured credential after the idle timeout expires. Option C. The laptop receives an address from the phone and reaches the internet through cellular service. Option D. The device unlocks only after a registered biometric sample is recognized or an approved fallback is used. The correct answer is option A. Touch input tracks accurately across the entire screen after replacement or recalibration. Digitizer translates touch or stylus input on a screen into coordinates the operating system can process. It enables the device to detect position, pressure, and gestures on the display surface. Replacing the LCD panel alone addresses image production rather than touch detection. Question 21. The support team is evaluating the most appropriate tool, control, or procedure. Which statement explains the value of power supply unit in this task? Option A. It improves responsiveness over a mechanical disk while retaining compatibility with the existing controller. Option B. Its wattage, connectors, and output capacity must support the combined system demand. Option C. It is designed for computer display applications and can carry several display streams on supported hardware. Option D. Its nozzles control the location and amount of ink applied to the page. The correct answer is option B. Its wattage, connectors, and output capacity must support the combined system demand. Power supply unit is relevant because it converts utility power into regulated low-voltage outputs used by internal computer hardware. A surge protector filters transient input events but cannot compensate for an undersized internal supply. The system remains stable under full load after a correctly sized compatible replacement is installed. Question 22. An organization wants to slow automated online password guessing against local accounts. Which control is the best fit? Option A. Passphrase. Option B. The 802.1x authentication. Option C. Account lockout policy. Option D. Automatic screen lock. The correct answer is option C. Account lockout policy. The problem is addressed by a control that temporarily blocks authentication after a defined number of failed attempts. It limits repeated attempts while balancing security with the risk of user lockouts. The account becomes unavailable after the configured threshold and recovers according to policy. Question 23. Which finding best confirms that recovery time objective achieved its intended purpose? Option A. A test restoration completes within the approved service recovery window. Option B. Each daily set is small, and restoration requires the full backup plus every later incremental set. Option C. A verification confirms the approved erase or destruction method completed for each tracked device. Option D. A search returns the approved article and following it resolves the known issue. The correct answer is option A. A test restoration completes within the approved service recovery window. The selected metric defines the maximum acceptable time to restore a service after disruption. It guides recovery design, staffing, and technology based on tolerated downtime. Recovery point objective addresses acceptable data loss rather than service restoration duration. Question 24. A new desktop motherboard specifies DDR5 slots, and the technician must choose compatible memory modules. Which component most directly meets the stated need? Option A. A graphics processing unit. Option B. Heat sink. Option C. DDR5 DIMM. Option D. A central processing unit. The correct answer is option C. DDR5 DIMM. The stated requirement depends on a component that provides current generation desktop system memory with higher bandwidth and different electrical and physical requirements than earlier generations. It matches the socket keying and memory controller requirements of the selected platform. The firmware reports the installed capacity and rated memory generation after startup. Question 25. Which option identifies the procedure that removes stored web content that may be stale or corrupted? Option A. Disable browser extensions. Option B. Roll back the device driver. Option C. Restart the supporting service. Option D. Clear the browser cache. The correct answer is option D. Clear the browser cache. The defining function is that the procedure removes stored web content that may be stale or corrupted. It forces the browser to download fresh resources from the site. Changing the computer name does not refresh locally stored web content.